This week we're finishing The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley, otherwise known as She's Worried He's Just Gonna Ream Her.
Hi readers, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine Season 2, the podcast where we break down the best and worst fictional heroines of any genre. Because that's what we do now.
Want to see what's next on our TBR list? Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Instagram for a sneak peek at upcoming content or to help us pick our next book.
We are closing out The Blue Sword today.
Which I feel like we're only at 50% maybe consumption-wise of like the storyline, but because there's a bunch of stuff that happens at the end that
you said it correctly though, is the end is a bit of a fever dream.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah.
But easy to talk about, I think.
Oh yeah. There's distinct plot points, but I almost wonder if Robin McKinley, not too big for her britches, but she's like, this is kind of like an undertaking. Let me kind of like rush through some of those stuff.
Yeah, she talked about like a nation versus nation war with the third nation partially involved.
Yeah, and then a bunch of like non-conscripted people that like join up at the last second.
A militia. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Some like, collapsing of mountains. Yeah, so there's a lot that goes on in this part. But, most recently, Harry won the Labyrinth trials. Mm-hmm. She's Haramat Soul, the King's Rider, or the King's Champion. Mm-hmm. And so,
Lady hero.
And so Mathin is kind of educating her a little bit because she has her sash that, Corlath cut off of her. And he tells her, like, no, like, look at my sash. You see all these stitch parts. And it's a place of honor to sew your sash together and wear it as hey, I lost my sash to this person.
I fucking just hold on to the sash thing in my pocket. When it comes
so
back,
good.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
My soul left my body in a good way.
Yeah. If you, I feel like if you remember nothing out of The Blue Sword but the sash scene.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When it happens for the first time and then
the second
after.
time.
Yeah.
And your heart kind of breaks and then it like mends itself immediately.
Oh my God.
So Corlath, is escorting Harry through the castle and it's like, hey, congratulations, you won. I feel like you could stay here. And so he escorts her to this beautiful courtyard. And I swear this courtyard lives in my brain because it's like a cobblestone paved courtyard with a beautiful fountain with a horse or something like spitting water. Mm-hmm. And there's like a cottage, like a random beautiful blue roofed cottage built in this courtyard in the palace. And he takes her to the cottage and she immediately feels like at home and like this is a wonderful place. And he tells her that his father built this cottage for his mother to make her feel more at home and more comfortable. I
love that Harry really didn't think twice about that. But girl, like if a man is gifting you the thing that his house that his dad bought for his mom and they were deeply in love, like it probably has a deeper mood.
And then immediately followed by the fact that they have a huge celebratory victory feast after the Labyrinth trials. And he makes this big show of presenting the Blue Sword, the whole title of this fucking book, Gonturin, to Harry. Yeah. Because Gonturin was wielded by Lady Erin back in the day. So it's a smaller, lighter, shorter sword than carried by most men. And Harry's like, I get my own sword.
It's like, girl, he just proposed to you, basically.
Yeah.
And you just kind of skip past that. And you're like, anyways,
so she's
fight crime.
Yeah. She's in this cottage sleeping with the blue sword next to her, having visions of Lady Erin and like not really processing everything that's going on, which is
not at all.
She is of the people now. Mm-hmm. She's the lady hero.
Yes.
But in the background, there's this huge threat of northern invasion that they're, constantly faced with. And they're trying to figure out what to do about it. And so Corlath is like, well, we've exhausted all of our resources. Our only thing that we can do right now is ride to meet them and perhaps seek counsel from this magician wizard who is a hermit in the mountains named Luth.
It was such a random, like, oh, yeah, we're going to see my homie who's, like, hallucinating in the woods by himself, 3-day trek. We're going to go talk to him. It's like, who is this man?
Yeah. So they kind of set up camp again and they go off riding, and it's like the entire Hillfolk army. Like everyone. They're like, all right, we're going off to die to meet the Northerners, and we're pretty sure they're going to win, but we can't not fight.
Yeah. Because I will say that Robin McKinley did a good job of infusing some of these travel scenes with this sense of resigned fate, where it's almost sad when you're reading it, where you're like, oh, this is kind of fun, but it's like, oh, they're riding to their death. Like, everyone has kind of accepted the fact that they're just gonna die, but at least it'll give an opportunity for other people to kind of like, you know, get away and hide in the hills until someone else can fight them back. But it's like, this is a death march.
Like once you actually think about the implications of what they're doing, also compounded by the fact that they're marching with all the newly appointed riders and soldiers from the Labyrinth trials. So we kind of meet like late in the game, I would say, these secondary characters. One's like a female rider who Harry like unseated in like the first battle, but like she forges this immediate friendship with this other like young female rider who like left home. She's like the youngest daughter, but she wanted to be a soldier, and she's actually quite good. She's just not as good as Harry. And so she's also riding off to battle, and her and Harry kind of form a friendship.
And there's a random dude too that's like their friend group.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's like a very like last minute found family kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so they ride off into the mountains. They're camping again. It's kind of exhausting on this
More camping.
Yeah, so much camping. And, you know, what's the cat's name again?
Nani.
Nani's with them as well, hunting as usual. And so they trek up this mountain. They're like they can't even ride their horses up the mountain. They have to go on foot. And they make it to this like magical glade.
The Misty Mountains.
Yeah. And they stumble upon like this cottage, and it's like this tall, lanky, blonde man completely out of place in the mountains. He's like, hello, my friends.
What's up?
Welcome to my glade. And he's like smoking a joint or something.
I know. He's just vibing out there.
So I hear you guys are off to battle and you need some help. And yeah, it's not going so great for you. So Corlath and his people are camping. And then Luth and Harry have this like tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Where Luth is like, you're going to be important and you're going to get called upon and you're not going to like it. But like, if you need help, I'm here for you. Just call to the mountains.
I love. He's my favorite, just like fever dream, just hanging out. Because even at the end, because I feel like the summary of their whole 3-day trip there is just like he gives some kind of news to Corlath that will help him in the end, but Harry doesn't hear about it. And he basically just tells Harry that like you have a fate that will come to you, and it just
Lady Erin is there to guide you.
Yep, that's basically the summary. But then at the end, he's like, yeah, I just hang out here by myself because, like, I have some, like, homie friends that are kind of, like, people shy. And, I just hang out in the woods by myself.
That's what I do.
Anyways.
So if you have ever read The Hero and the Crown, you would know how fucking jacked up this is because Luth and Lady Erin were, like, fuck buddies.
What? What? Oh my no!
I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure. So Lady Erin, she ends up there's like a love triangle thing going on.
What?
If I remember correctly, she ends up marrying like a Hill King, but she has like this weird romantic sidebar relationship with Luth. So when Luth is educating Harry about Lady Erin and saying that Lady Erin is going to be there to protect you and have faith in her, he's
like subtext.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
I do not love that because I just imagine him as like kind of like an asexual nerd.
No.
Just, like, hanging out. Ew, no.
He was like a very much a...
Ew, no. Oh my God. Yeah, there it was. I am Luth. Oh, come back to me, said Luth behind her. I will. Absolutely not. I'm sorry, Robin McKinley, but no.
So, readers, Katie is flipping through the original hard copy of The Hero and the Crown right now.
Oh my God. I am traumatized.
I'm glad I remembered it correctly. So there you go. There's a little backstory on Mr. Luth.
God,
there.
I don't like him now. They leave.
So yeah, Harry and Corlath and their entire party leaves the mountain and they go off to fight the Northerners. And so Harry is kind of set on this. Hey, Corlath, I know you and, the Homelanders don't get along and you already asked them for help, but what happens if the Northerners sneak through this tiny little mountain pass that's off to the east that, my friends, the Homelanders, could, like, very easily go in and, like, help us out with? And Corlath is just dead set against it. Like, I'm not asking for them for their help. We don't need them. Like, while like the Northerners are not going to use that path. He's just being like a dumb, stubborn male.
Yeah, like a dickhead for no reason.
Yeah, and he's I mean, if you were the Hill King in this situation and you're riding to your death,
yeah,
you'd probably be a little stressed too.
Yeah, I almost wish that this was a little bit longer, because this could have been a moment that if this was written now and not, in the 90s when Robin McKinley first wrote it, this would be a good moment of that kind of like white savior, that it could be like studied a little bit more.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Harry all of a sudden has this like magical, military knowledge about like what the enemy is going to do. And like the Hill King, who's lived there his entire life, like doesn't also share some kind of like, you know what I mean?
It is a little awkward.
Yeah. But it'd be an interesting point to kind of, maybe like dissect the white savior silliness.
Or for somebody like Mathin, who is more experienced, who has more of a relationship with the Homelanders, to be like, hey, man, like, maybe we should do this thing. And Harry to be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And Corlath still being a little bitch.
Yeah. It's interesting because you said, I think in one of the episodes, that this is like a trip to the past or whatever. And that's for sure, because I feel like it should maybe now be handled in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is, she keeps like coming back to this past, and she's like, I feel like we're being a little bit stupid, kind of like ignoring this whole little, back alley thing where they could just totally smash us if they come through. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. So, she keeps confronting Corlath with this reality, and he keeps disregarding her to the point where, like, he's getting angry with her. Like, just shut the fuck up and leave me alone. Which, like, I mean, is fair. Yeah. And so she's kind of hurt and a little like, but I'm right, kind of thing. So in the middle of the night, she resigns herself. I can't let this happen in good conscience. I need to help these people. And she's doing it from like, I'm not abandoning them, but I need to help in the way that I think that I can. So she rides off on her horse Sungold, and she's going back to her Homelander town to recruit that colonel who was very friendly with the Hillfolk in the beginning. But she's halfway through her ride, or she wakes up, and then there's her friends there.
Yeah. They're like, you're stupid, but we're coming with you.
Like, we can help you. Just allow us to help you, which I think was a good point for character development. Like, Harry is not great at accepting help, and them forcing her to be like, hey, like, we are here for you. We're going to support you. Just let us do this.
Yeah.
And her being like, okay with it and learning to accept it is a huge turning point for her.
Because I also appreciate that Harry, during this, kind of immediately comes to terms with the fact that she's betraying Corlath, and she's like upset about it, but she's like, I have to do this. Like, it could end up being nothing, but in the off chance that they do come through this pass, I can't let them like kill Corlath. Like, I'll accept the consequences for this to save his life. I appreciate that she's so kind of black and white blunt about it, because there's a lot of characters that are like, oh my God, I betrayed him. And they just kind of focus on it way too fucking much. And it's like, get over it. Like, either make the decision and come to terms with it or move on. Like,
yeah.
But Harry's just like, yep, I did it anyways.
Well, it's so very subtle, because the romance up to this point is not there. Like, it's there, but it is so hidden.
Yeah.
And the overtones are like, you have to read 3 levels down to find the romance here. But this is where you start getting more of a glimmer of like, there's a hint of something going on.
Yeah.
Even Harry's like not acknowledging that part of her heartache over abandoning Corlath is abandoning Corlath the man and like the guy that she potentially loves. And so she's all up in arms about it, but she's like, well, this is what I have to do.
Because I feel like the romance in this is similar. Have you seen the movie Sicario? You know what I mean? Where it's like there, and you're like, there is nothing romantic about this, but like the looks, like, what the fuck?
It's like simmering in the background.
God, yeah. I love that movie. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's, yeah.
That's what it reminds me of, though. It's subtle.
You know it's there, but it's not overt. It's very well done. So she and her compatriots, big word there.
Beautiful.
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to say it the right way.
I had faith.
Yeah. So they stop by a couple towns, and as they're riding through, like, her friends are like, hey, I got family here. Hey, I got family here. And this is a very, very broad description of what actually happens, but they basically acquire a militia, like family and friends volunteer. Like, we're here to, support Harrimat Soul and our people. And they make it back to the Homelander town. And I love I love
everything about this.
This is fantastic. This is what every person envisions. Like, I'm coming back a new person, and I'm going to show everyone how I've like overcame all my shit.
Which is funny too, because this next scene when they go to the fort, it reminds me of, what is the movie, The Coconuts to Make the Horse Clove?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're at the top.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
They're like at the top and they're like, we're not going to let you in. Why should I? Your mother's a something.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens in this next scene.
Yeah. And so there's Harry and her two friends, and they're all their massive desert horses, and they're at the gates to the garrison of the Homelander army. And Harry's like, hey guys, I'm back.
They're like, who the fuck are you?
She's not getting there. She's like, I just need to speak to Colonel Jack. Just let me in. He's gonna tell him Harry's here. And all of the guards like, who the fuck are you? You're wearing like a turban, like you're on a fucking horse. Like, no. And so she like kicks Sungold into action, and Sungold's like, fuck you. And Sungold leaps over this 10-foot barrier.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. The horse from Tangled.
Yeah. That's Sungold. He leaps over and he like shakes himself and it's like, wasn't that pretty?
Anyway, bitches.
I'm here. And so everyone's like looking at like Harry like, how the fuck did she just do that?
Excuse me.
And then this was the cutest fucking call out. So in the very beginning, in part 1, we talked about how these two, young army guys,
oh yeah,
her brother's friends were like had secret crushes on Harry. And so one of these young men are part of like the troops assembled to like rein in this invader who just leaps the gate. And so Harry like takes her turban off and like their mouths drop open and they're like, holy shit.
Oh no, she's hot.
Harry, you're back. And at the same time, we get this like shift to omniscient perspective where Harry's like, well, I guess they liked me back then.
Because he has this moment, he realizes that the old Harry is gone forever, and he kind of has this resigned, like, love lost moment. It's such a cute, like, aw.
It's adorable. It's a great callback to the beginning. And then Colonel Jack comes out, and Jack is like obsessed with Sungold. Like, how the fuck did you get this horse?
What?
First of all, let's talk about important things.
Invasion? No, doesn't matter.
Can I touch him?
I also like that Nani is here too, because she like jumps after and they're all like, that's a fucking tiger.
That's a leopard.
And she's like, Jack, you're okay in my book. And he's like,
she like slinks up to him like, hi.
What's up?
And so Jack takes Harry back and they have tea, and Harry kind of basically explains like what's going on. And Jack's like, well, I was ready to retire anyway. Might as well mutiny.
I know. He's like, I'll commit crimes.
Yeah, I'm done. I like this place anyway. So he somehow manages to recruit like, I don't know, a battalion worth of soldiers.
Old people that are like, yeah, fuck it.
Oh, we're done. Let's go to battle.
Oh, but he has the little reveal about Harry's heritage first, though. Which it feels so like hinky dinky, but I get it. They're having tea, and Jack kind of is like, oh, yeah, well, it makes sense that you had such an easy time like adapting to the hill folks' culture and everything because your grandma is hill folk. And she's like, excuse me. What? And yeah, it was apparently all kind of a scandal, and nobody told Harry because they didn't want Harry to succumb to hill folk.
Whatever.
Yeah. So that's where her Kellar came from. I did read a comment that it'd be better if it was her mom was a hill folk.
Yeah, a little bit more direct.
Yeah, but that's why she didn't burn in the sun when she went out there, even though she has blonde hair and pale skin.
Yeah, it does make Harry like herself accept her own acceptance of the desert like a lot more easily. Like, oh, I guess this is normal, which I don't know if that tracks. Like, you shouldn't need like blood. Yeah. You shouldn't need some knowledge of history to like a place or a people or a culture.
Yeah. It's silly.
Yeah. But, whatever. There we go.
Mechanism.
Yeah. So she gets a whole militia from the Homelanders. They march in combination with the hill folk that they've recruited. They go to this mountain pass, and it's tiny. It's like, what?
2 people across.
Yeah. Like, okay, so this is...
Oopsie.
Yeah, this is not going to be good, or it's going to be
yeah, or we're all going to be murdered.
Yeah. And so she's kind of strategizing and evaluating this pass and thinking, like, what the fuck do we do? And so she goes through the pass, and she and like a few others, like scouts, realize that the entire Northern Army is
there.
Like, they did not go the other way. They are definitely going around the back. And so what Corlath is facing is probably like a little subsection of the Northerners, and the actual army is there with their militia.
Oopsie.
This is not going to go well.
Yeah. I like Harry's just pragmatic, like, we're all gonna die, but maybe we'll last a little bit long. We'll pull a, 300 move here, and we're just gonna hold off the Ottoman Empire.
As long as we possibly can.
Stack bodies.
Except, what we didn't talk about.
Oh, the archers that come out of random.
Well,
they're not important.
No.
They have Legolas equivalent cousin that comes out. And
I was going to talk about the sash. So, 3 days into their, once Harry has escaped the main camp away from Corlath, she realizes that she dropped her sash accidentally. It just fell off as she was preparing. And she has a fucking meltdown. I would too. That would break me. I didn't mean for it to be that way.
Sash.
And then we get this, as Harry is traveling away, we get a snap back to Corlath's perspective. And Corlath, the morning after Harry leaves, he's walking through the camp and he sees Harry's deserted tent and everything. And he sees her sash lying on the ground. And we don't get anything much more than he picks up the sash and walks away. But you feel the heartbreak in that very short scene.
That she just ditched him and ditched everything that they had together and left, and she's not a rider anymore, and she's like, fuck you. Oh, my soul.
It's heartbreaking.
I didn't know a stupid fucking sash one sentence line could destroy my heart like that.
This is Robin McKinley's casual. I'm not going to try it. Here's a fantasy novel.
Yeah, but anyway, here's the needle in the haystack that's going to cut your jugular open.
I feel like the sash scene is equivalent to Shivraeth from Crown Jewel taking his glove off and revealing the ring.
Oh, yeah, but the next sash scene with that's exactly, those are really similar scenes, actually. Wow. Oh my god. Okay, we'll get through the battle and then we'll get to the glove scene.
Okay.
Wow. Oh my god.
So Harry realizes she's facing the Northern Army. She's like, I'm gonna need some help. So she climbs up a mountain. She's like, hey, Luth, I underestimated the force that I was fighting. Can you help me out here? And she kind of has a seizure. She stabs Gontour and she cries out for Corlath. Corlath, help me.
Literally.
Shouts across the mountains, expecting him to hear her. And a la Mulan, she brings a whole fucking mountain down to crush the Northern Army.
Yeah. They had a little couple soirees, fights, or sorties, whatever fights.
Yeah. I love how you just described a battle as a soiree.
Fought a little bit, danced a little bit. Nani comes through and knocks over someone's banner, and she's like, "Fuck you," and then runs back. But then we have the destruction.
And Harry almost dies when she meets the Northern commander. She's having a sword fight with the commander, and he's like, "Ha, fuck you, I'm a demon." And then Nani and Sungold, the cat and the horse, come in and basically destroy him.
Yeah, they're like, absolutely not. This is our mom.
Yeah. And it's not really Harry who wins against the commander. It's the animals.
Yeah.
And this would be the point. If this were written by George R. Martin, one of the animals would have died.
Oh, 100%. I was expecting it too. So thank you, Robin McKinley, for not destroying my soul.
I really appreciated that. In this story, it is almost pure fairy tale in the sense that none of the characters that you care about die.
Yeah.
The animals all survive. And it's fantastic. Because a lot of, I think, even in current romantasy, people will kill off a character for emotional hit. And I don't need that.
No. There's moments where you feel not that it's necessary, but you do feel the emotional toll of it, but you need the work beforehand for it to really take an emotional toll. But yeah, don't kill animals. Come on. I'm part of that whole, does the dog die in this movie?
Not gonna watch it.
Nope.
Did not know. So you're very lucky because you probably saw I Am Legend not in theaters.
God, nope. No.
Oh, yeah. I was a teenager and I'm like, I Am Legend looks like an amazing movie. I'm going to go see it in theaters. Saw it in theaters. Bawled my fucking eyes out because back then, there weren't internet reviews. There weren't fucking spoilers. So you don't fucking know that he has to murder his fucking dog.
Oh my God. Sidebar, I have a similar story. So I was on my cycle. The red nature lady was visiting. This was in high school. I was at home just bleeding as you do. And I got to stay home from high school. And I was like, I'm going to watch a movie, whatever. I put on War Horse. If you guys have not seen this as like a historical.
I refuse to watch it.
No, that's a good call. This horse is like through the fucking wrecker during like World War II or World War I or something. Just absolutely devastating. I am sobbing my fucking eyes out alone in my room watching War Horse. My dad walks in and he's like, nope, not today. He closes the door. So yes, equal moments of I had no idea that War Horse, was that.
I just need you to see the trailer to know I'm never watching that movie.
I don't know what was going through my head to watch that during my period, but that was the devil work.
Marley and Me? No,
oh my God, no.
Yeah. So
Nobody dies.
Nobody dies. The cat lives. The horse lives. Harry lives. It's great.
Yeah.
So she battles the commander.
Mm-hmm.
He dies. And then she realizes, oh, there's still a full fucking army.
Yep.
She calls upon Luth. She brings the whole mountain down using her Kellar. It basically wipes her out.
Yeah.
And so her friends have to climb the mountain and rescue her dead ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dead ass.
And then they all well, I guess we kind of won. So they venture back to Corlath and his main camp. And so they're kind of riding together. It's like this ragtag bunch of people. Her brother shows up randomly, Richard.
Oh yeah, he shows up before the fight and he's like, I love my military career, but God damn it, Harry, here I am.
You're my family. I'm here for you. And then Jack's there, and Jack's like, well, we can't go back to the homeland territory because things.
Yeah, guess I'm hillfolk now.
Yeah. And so they go back to camp, and as they ride in, Harry is dreading facing Corlath again because she feels like he's just going to ream her.
Girl. Oh my God.
Sorry.
I love that.
That was inappropriate.
I feel like she's more concerned because she dropped her sash.
Yeah.
And she's assuming that he's mad at her, but also, yes, reaming.
Okay, so they ride into camp and she's on her horse and Corlath strides out of his tent and he's standing there and she looks at him and she realizes that the sash that he's wearing around his waist is her sash.
I just love it so much, but get to what it means.
So Harry says this very awkwardly, so I won, but also can I come back? And Corlath is puts a hand on her leg as she's still sitting on her, because she cannot bring herself to dismount off of Sungold. Yeah. So Corlath is a hand on her leg, looking up at her, wearing her sash. And so she slides down the horse and they're kind of embracing each other, not by the forearms. And he explains to her so I take it by, you leaving your sash behind, that was accidental, right? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, great. So there's a tradition in our country where, back in the day, back in the warrior times of Lady Erin, Katie, are you okay?
I'm not okay.
Couples would exchange sashes as a sign of their devotion to each other or something like that. And he says this and he's looking at Harry and Harry's looking at him and the tears well up on both their sides. And then
the tears roll up in my eyes.
They embrace because Corlath basically pronounces himself hers, and has been doing that for weeks.
Yeah.
He's been strolling around I don't know if she loves me or not. She could have just fucking abandoned me, but I love her. Here's her sash.
I love this giant woman. Oh my God.
And
how fucking cute. Instead of a third act breakup, we gotta that was an accident, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm kind of stupid. I'm sorry.
The fact that he didn't assume that she abandoned him.
Yeah.
He just assumed in good faith and that he's hey, no matter what happens, I love you. I'm going to wear your sash. It was magical.
I want to cry.
I cannot do justice to describing this scene.
No. Oh my God. It's exactly like the Corlath taking off the glove scene and then he has the ring on. Even thinking about that, I have hives, but it's good hives.
Yeah. So the next few scenes are just hey, everyone's happy. We get a little bit more intimacy. There's nothing open door going on between Corlath and Harry. It's very tame, very PG. Not even PG-13,
just PG. This is the ending of Tangled when they have the wedding.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Yeah. Except Harry learns that her mentor Mathin was gravely injured in their battle. And so she goes into the tent and everyone's well, I don't think he's going to make it. And she's well, back in the day of Lady Erin, Kellar could be used for healing and not just destruction. And so she goes around and she proceeds to heal all of the soldiers. And she like depletes herself and she's exhausted for days, but she saves everyone. And again, I love this because this is like traditional fairy tale. No one dies.
Yep.
Not a single fucking person that you care about in this story dies.
No. As it should be.
Yeah.
Like, let me have my happy ending here.
So yeah, there's your, happily
sword.
ever after. Oh, and Richard's brother marries a hill woman, like an archer.
Yeah.
Just as a by the way, Jack gets his own hill horse. Like, it's great.
I love, because her brother's name is Dickie, and he's just like, just at the end, it's like Dickie married like a hill folk, and Harry was mad because they had a baby first, and she's like pregnant, and she's like, God damn it, like this baby needs to get the fuck out of me. Like, feel that honestly on it.
It's like a prolonged epilogue.
Yeah, like we really didn't need it, but I enjoyed it. It was cute.
It's very easy reading.
Yeah. I live for the fucking sash moment.
Me too. The glove, a sash, that's all I need.
Yep. Yeah.
That is, in some ways, it's better than these very explicit, scenes we get in other romantasy books.
Oh, yeah.
Has way more meaning, way more emotional toll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, sex is just an act and people can do it and have it not mean anything. But, you cannot walk around your camp with, your girlfriend's sash and not have it mean something deeper. Like, he loves her.
Yeah. And then with Shivraeth wearing the ring that she made for him. Like the whole time, even when he thought she was potentially a traitor, like having that faith. It's like the dude's faith in the woman, like completely disregarding, or not completely disregarding, but like there's evidence to the contrary, but they have so much faith in them that they're willing to discount it because they love them and they trust them.
Yeah, like a faith in best intentions or something. Because that does mean more than just like anybody can stick a penis somewhere else. Sorry. Sorry.
I don't know how to process that.
We'll just end there.
All right, yeah. So there you go, readers. That was The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley. If you want to read the prequel, it's called The Hero and the Crown.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't talk about that though, Luth.
Yeah,
just
stick with The Blue Sword. So
yeah,
from our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page. Hi, readers. If you'd like to help us pick our next book, send us a message on Instagram.
Or if you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.
Bussin'.